What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Kyle, back at you again with another rankings video. Today, Kyle, we're talking about quarterbacks, and usually in fantasy football, we're big proponents for waiting on quarterbacks, but once again here in 2020, this is going to be a very, very deep position for fantasy football.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And some of these guys that we've got ranked here towards the top, they're going to go super early because somebody in that draft is going to love them a quarterback. But this year again, we're going to wait.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go ahead and rank them, but we'll get into more, detail here as the offseason goes on with the strategies of drafting and stuff like that. But for right now, we're going to break into our top 12. I have a different set of rankings than Kyle does, so we're going to disagree here in this episode, and that's fine. You'll get to hear points from both sides to help you make your decisions a little bit easier. Once again, real quick, before we get started, head over to the website, fantasyheadliners.com. Our draft guides for sale over there, pre-order $14.99. It was an awesome draft guide last year. Had a lot of great comments and feedback from it. Tons of information. I mean, it was almost 500 pages, Kyle. And if you guys are worried, out there that, hey, I don't know if the season's going to happen with all the crap going on, don't worry. If it gets canceled for some reason, we'll refund your money, so you're out nothing. Just give yourself something to look forward to. But now, Kyle, let's talk about our top 12 quarterbacks, and we don't even agree on number one. We agree on one quarterback in this list, but it's not number one. For me, I got Lamar Jackson, number one. And obviously we know who 1 and 2 are probably going to be, and we have them flopped. But for me, Lamar Jackson and that rushing upside in an offense that we know is going to have built-in runs for him, the explosiveness, the big play ability. Do they add a pass-catching weapon in the draft? Does Marquise Brown take a step forward? Does Mark Andrews repeat what he did? There's so many, opportunities in this offense that I really can't choose against Lamar Jackson as of right now.
Yeah, and I'm going with Patrick Mahomes at number 1 overall, Lamar Jackson at number 2. So again, these two are basically going to be flip-flop. They're going to be 1 and 2 in basically everybody's rankings. If someone doesn't have either of these guys at 1 or 2, I'd love to hear why. But the reason I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes over Lamar Jackson is just because we've seen so much out of Patrick Mahomes so far. And he's, again, more of your prototypical quarterback. Okay. He's not reliant so much on those rushing yards and rushing touchdowns and things like that. So I think if you're looking to be super safe, you're going to go with Patrick Mahomes. But again, you're going to have to spend a second, third, or fourth round pick on one of these guys. So I'm not really telling you to draft either of them this season. With Lamar Jackson, fabulous. He's going to have those rushing yards. I think he's going to take a step forward as a passer again. But does he struggle maybe at times again? Do we see a little bit more of that Lamar Jackson from the playoffs than we do in the regular, things like that? So I think there's just still some question marks about where does that step forward come? Does it come right away? Does it come halfway through the season? Does it come in year 3? Whatever it may be, that's why I'm just a little bit ahead of Patrick Mahomes over Lamar Jackson right now.
Patrick Mahomes, like you said, he's safer. He is the safer option, and the ceiling is still, out of this world crazy for Patrick Mahomes, but you mentioned it, second, third, fourth round, that's what it's going to take to get one of these quarterbacks, one of these top 2. That's where people are going to take it. I'm sure in a lot of people's home leagues, some of these guys may go in the first round, and that's just not something that you or I can advise to do or say that we do at all. Yeah, they are great players, but there's a lot of depth at quarterback, and we're going to start, differing here, and we're starting at number 3. Now, for me, a lot of people may say this is my inner homer. They can say whatever they want to say. I'm not going to give a crap. It's Kyler Murray. And I know what a lot of people are going to say is there's no way that Kyler Murray should be number 3, but just hear me out for a second. Right now, this defense couldn't stop me at 38 years old and out of shape from scoring touchdowns. As of right now, it's a horrible defense in Arizona. They're putting together one of the best offenses in the NFL, but they're not going to be able to stop anybody. So they're going to be in a lot of, high-scoring matchups where he's forced to throw for 4 quarters. We saw at times last year, he started to mature as the season went on, and now you're adding in a DeAndre Hopkins to go with Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk and Kenyon Drake out of the backfield. The rushing ability is going to be there. Look for him to kind of have maybe a few more built-in running opportunities, kind of like we saw from Lamar Jackson last year. The offensive line is not great. It's going to force him to scramble out of the pocket, and that's where he really excels, finding open receivers and then taking the ball by himself and running for it. This guy's upside is going to be absolutely huge. However, another one of these guys, a lot of people are going to be on this hype train because of the rushing ability and the offense and the total offense they have. But I love Kyler Murray this year in fantasy football. I got him at number 3.
Yeah, I've got him at 6. So just a few spots behind you. I like Kyler Murray, but I'm being just a little bit gun shy with him this year because of what we saw from Baker Mayfield and the Browns last year. So, and you can argue that Murray and Baker are not the same quarterback. And I get that. You're going to see a little bit more running from Kyler Murray than what you see from Baker Mayfield, but they come from the same offensive system. Their structure's a little bit of the same too, body type, things of that nature. So it depends. I mean, maybe Baker Mayfield might have that dad bod going on right now in quarantine. I don't know about that, but with Kyler, I'm just being a little gun shy because that offensive line is going to be bad again this year. Even if they address it in the first round and throughout the draft this year, I don't think it's necessarily going to take a huge step forward. So that just concerns me a little bit with the passing game.
Now, what about number 4? This is a quarterback that I know you and I have both loved for years, and it doesn't really seem to matter where we rank him. Mm-hmm. People absolutely hate it. We can love the guy, we can dislike. It doesn't matter what we do. Yeah. But every year, the guy just continues to put up QB1 type numbers, top 12 numbers, and I'm talking about number 4, Dak Prescott for us, going back to the Dallas Cowboys. He's there again. Amari Cooper has re-signed. Cooper seems to give a crap from week to week. He was called a turd by what was it, Rex Ryan that called him a turd? Yeah. Somebody called him a turd on TV. I mean, that's got to be somewhat of a motivation. I mean, last thing I want to be called on national TV is a turd during quarantine. I mean, come on. Everybody saw that. Now, but I get it. I understand where he was coming from. It just seems like at times Amari Cooper is not at the top of his game, but we've seen what Dak Prescott can do, but it's a new offense, right? There's no more Jason Garrett. Now you get the Mike McCarthy-led offense, an offense that we really saw Aaron Rodgers thrive in when he was in Green Bay. Now, obviously, I think that they still commit to Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. He's still going to be a big part of this. The offensive line took a hit here in the offseason, but with Michael Gallup taking another step forward in this offense, I love Dak Prescott once again. I got him at number 4.
Yeah, and I've got Dak Prescott at number 3. I mean, back-to-back years now for both 18 and 19, I put Dak Prescott as like my must-own quarterback, and he was the guy that you were going to get the greatest return on from where you drafted him to where he ended in the season. And I tell you what, he delivered both times. Last year, a little bit more than the year before, but he was being drafted as like a quarterback 15, 16, 17, 18, even later than that in some drafts. And he ended up finishing within the top 12 both of the last 2 seasons. So a great offense in place again this year. Amari Cooper, again, hopefully he shows up every single week and he doesn't disappear there once in a while. Hopefully injuries are a little bit of the past and he's healthy and ready to go. But this is going to be a really good offense. So I'm investing in Dak Prescott.
Yep, love Dak this year. What about number 5? Another guy that I know that you have pretty high also on your list. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to want this name, and his ADP may get a little bit too high the closer we get. I love Josh Allen in Buffalo, and I know you cannot say those words out loud, Kyle. Like, you're just not able to say it because I know you're not a huge Josh Allen truther. However, I've seen your rankings, so I know you're starting to believe a little bit more in Josh Allen. The rushing upside is there. Is he reliant on it like some of the other guys? No, he's not, but the ability is there. You add in the fact that you get Dawson Knox in another year in that offense from the tight end position. You just added Stephon Diggs. You got John Brown. You have a case of the Beasles with Cole Beasley. You have your entire offensive line returning. You got Devin Singletary in his second year. I mean, this is just building a team that's going to contend for this division, especially now that Tom Brady is not in New England. I love Josh Allen, and he's going to be somebody that I target a lot in drafts here this year.
I'm going to digress for just a moment here. Okay. Jake, one of our biggest things here on the Fantasy Headliners is transparency. Yeah. Right? We definitely love to say, hey, we got this one right. But we are also more than willing to stand up and say, we got this one wrong. When Josh Allen was drafted, I wrote an article comparing him to Ryan Mallett. That didn't age well. It did not. I didn't like Josh Allen coming out of the draft. I did, however, on multiple times say if he could go to a team where he could just sit for 2 to 3 years and just work on some of those skills, I think he could be a fine NFL quarterback. But if he goes to the Bills, they're going to throw him in too soon. He's not going to be able to develop all that jazz. Okay. He got thrown in right away. And so far, so good. He hasn't been bad at all. He's been pretty good. He still needs to develop a little bit as a quarterback, though. He does miss some really easy throws sometimes. Some of those accuracy issues pop up on some of those intermediate routes. Okay. It happens from time to time, but he's got more than enough weapons around him. He's got a really good offensive line. He's got the rushing upside. He's got a lot of makeup that even if he misses some of those things in fantasy football, he's going to put up a whole lot of points this year.
Yep, absolutely agreed. Number 6, an old man opposite of Josh Allen. I love Drew Brees this year. I mean, I got Drew Brees right now at number 6 overall. He came back for a reason, right? The window is closing in New Orleans at their chance at a Super Bowl again with Drew Brees. Now, I love me some Taysom Hill. We know that there's no more Teddy Bridgewater there. But Drew Brees coming in now with Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Jared Cook, Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray in the backfield still. This is going to try to be one of those explosive offenses. And really, one of the reasons why I have him where I have him even this high, look at the division that they're in. They're going to have to continue to score points. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady and Evans and Godwin. You got the Falcons there with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and Todd Gurley in the backfield. Now you got the Carolina Panthers, and I guess you just got Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore, but that's about it. But it's going to be a defense or a division that they're going to have to keep their foot on the pedal to continue to score. I mean, we're talking that's 6 games out of their season right there against those opponents. We know Drew Brees and what he can do. Can he be old school Drew Brees and throw for 5,000? It's I don't know about that, but the potential for 4,630 touchdowns, yeah, that's possible for Drew Brees, and I love him. Got him at 6.
Is this Drew Brees' best offense ever? Is this the most weapons he's had on the field at one time since he's entered the league?
Maybe if you look at it as a whole, yeah, probably. I mean, it's a great offensive line. I mean, he's got it pretty well right now. And look at some of the numbers he's put up with, and he knows in the back of his mind that he doesn't have very many years left, and he's going to leave it all on the field.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's as long as he's healthy this year, which I mean, last season was the first season he didn't play at least 15 games since 2003. So he's always been a staple of health. He's never had any issues. So, yeah, 100%. Definitely Drew Brees coming in at number 7 for me. I do feel this is the most weapons that he's ever had on a team at one time. They perfectly complement each other as well. Tre'Quan Smith can stretch the field. Emmanuel Sanders can do a lot of those intermediate things out of the slot. Michael Thomas is just a beast. Alvin Kamara can do everything out of the backfield. Latavius Murray is a good punisher that they'll need at times. So I'm on board with Drew Brees. Just a fantastic season coming up.
Yep, agreed. Number 7, this is where I have Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson is usually always at the top of people's rankings. He's always there in the top 3, top 4. And I don't dislike Russell Wilson whatsoever. I mean, DK Metcalf, outperformed a lot of people's expectations last year. I expect him to continue to take a step forward. Tyler Lockett kind of disappeared mid-season, but is a great target for Russell Wilson there. What happens in the run game? How healthy are Penny and Carson? That's really a question mark for me right now, because if they can find a healthy running back, or if one of them is good to go week 1 and they can continue to pound the rock, they're going to. They were one of the top rushing teams in football until everybody in the backfield got hurt. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. If they can establish that running back, a solid running back, then maybe I kind of leave Russell where he's at. If they don't, and they kind of have to somewhat abandon the running game, Russell Wilson will tick up a couple spots, but for right now, got him at 7.
Yeah, I'm keeping him at 5 right now. The run game is kind of the main reason. Even if they don't have like a Carson or a Penny, or Penny's not going to be, but Carson potentially could be ready. If he is, that's great, but they're going to do something at that position to do just enough. But they might not be the running team that they have been the last few years. So maybe we're going to see a little bit more volume for Russell Wilson, but he's got Tyler Lockett now. He's got DK Metcalf now. He's got good weapons around him at wide receiver. We've brought in now into Greg Olsen into the fold. So is Greg Olsen really going to help kind of that tight end position, which Russell Wilson used a lot last year, even though they had some injuries. So I think this could be one of those seasons where we see some of that volume amp up to what we've missed the last couple of years.
Agreed. Number 8. I have Matt Ryan at number 8. And kind of similar to what I talked about with Drew Brees, right? They're going to be in a division where they're going to have to continue to throw the ball. And Matt Ryan with Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, now Hayden Hurst with no more Austin Hooper, and the addition of Todd Gurley. I can see a lot of short dump-off passes. I think Matt Ryan, flirts with maybe the league leader in passing touchdowns this year. I think he could get a lot of passing touchdowns. I think that they're going to score a lot more points in Atlanta this coming up year than they have in years past. But it's kind of going to hinge on Todd Gurley. How healthy is he? We're going to find that out super quick. Were the Rams just being overly cautious? Do they unleash him in this offense? And if they do, it's really going to open up. I mean, can you imagine if Todd Gurley comes out healthier than a lot of people expect? What is that going to do to the outside for Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley? I mean, if defenses have to pay attention to a healthy Todd Gurley, watch out in the secondary for those guys. So I got Matt Ryan right now at number 8.
Yeah, I've got him at 10. And I honestly could have put him as high as 5 and been just fine with it. And more than likely, he is going to, I'm probably a little bit lower than I should be on him right now. So if you're out there saying, Kyle, why are you being so disrespectful to Matt Ryan? I'm sorry. I apologize. Don't want to be disrespectful, but it is what it is. So I've got him at 10. Again, do we see a little too much Todd Gurley? If he's completely healthy and he's ready to go, does that take away a little bit what we might see Matt Ryan do? How good will the defense be this year? If the defense takes a big leap forward and they're a lot better, one of the big things with their defense the last couple of years has been a lot of injuries. Can they stay healthy? If they can, maybe they don't have to throw the ball nearly as much. He's going to be a top 12 quarterback no matter what. I think he's one of the biggest. He's one of the guys that has kind of the biggest threshold, though. I mean, he could go as high as, honestly, in my opinion, he could go as high as 3.
Yeah, I mean, that upside is definitely there in that offense 100%. Number 9, somebody we actually agree on in the 9 spot. And this may be the lowest we've both ranked him at the same time, and it's Deshaun Watson. And I hate to put Deshaun Watson this low. I love Deshaun Watson. What I don't love is Bill O'Brien and the front office moves for the Houston Texans. They got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and now all he has is a wide receiving group of injury-riddled players. You got Kiki QT, Will Fuller, Randall Cobb. I mean, what is going on there? I mean, who's going to be the running back in Houston right now? I mean, there's just the offensive line has been for years. I mean, he's constantly getting hit. I don't think that they're setting him up to succeed. It's not going to surprise me if this is the last year we see Deshaun Watson in Houston. I could definitely see him going somewhere else after the season in his last year, and I hate it because the talent is there, but I just can't trust it like I can in years past. He always had that bailout with DeAndre Hopkins. He doesn't have it now, so I dropped him down to 9.
The biggest thing for me is keeping an eye on the health of the players around him. He could probably drop a couple of more spots for me by the time the regular season gets here. I would hope if you trade DeAndre Hopkins and get David Johnson in return, you feed David Johnson quite a bit. What David Johnson are we going to get, though? I mean, that's going to be a big issue. Are we going to get the one from a few years ago? Or are we going to get, the guy last year that looked like he was running in mud? That could be an issue. Bill O'Brien loves his running backs, though. I mean, he made Carlos Hyde a 1,000-yard rusher last year. So, and typically he sticks with that guy too. I mean, we love Duke Johnson because we thought, hey, if Duke Johnson's going to be the guy, he can have an excellent season. Carlos Hyde comes in and then we're like, crap, like this is going to kill it. Sure enough, he just fed the ball to Hyde over and over and over again. So are they going to do that with David Johnson? And again, with the health, if the wide receivers are healthy, that's great, but the offensive line last year was a little bit improved, but not a whole lot. So there's just a whole lot in flux around Deshaun Watson right now.
And you hit it right there with David Johnson too. And when I'm saying, who's going to run the ball for the last time we saw David Johnson on the field, they didn't look good. They didn't look good at all. And I mean, if that's what he is, maybe there's somebody else that has to emerge in that backfield. Just a lot of question marks, and I hate it. So that's why we got Deshaun Watson drop down. Number 10. I have Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers. Now, it may be one of the lowest I've ranked Aaron Rodgers, too. Some of that can be spoken to the opportunities and the situations that the guys above him are in. Don't dislike Aaron Rodgers at all. I think he needs another weapon in this offense. They relied a lot on the running game last year, and I have a feeling unless they add another playmaker in the upcoming draft, that they may have to do that again with Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams. We know about Devontae Adams. There's no more Jimmy Graham. I think he needs something else to take that next step forward as far as fantasy football points scored goes. Otherwise, I think they rely a lot more on the run once again this year. If they can't add another weapon, I know Devontae Adams was injured majority of the season last year, and that really led to them having to lean on those running backs more. But an MVS, an Equanimeous St. Brown, no more Geronimo Allison. There's no one else there opposite of Devontae Adams that could really help out Aaron Rodgers.
I will tell you, people say it's because I'm a Lions fan and that I'm just hashtag butthurt about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback one anymore. I don't think so. Whether you want to say it's because, because of his age or because of declining skills, or more than likely the players around him is the biggest issue. Their philosophy to moving to the run game a little bit more. He's not a quarterback one for me anymore. Really, the only reason that he finished as high as he did last year was 3 games. There was 3 games last year: week 7, week 8, and week 12. Week 7, 429, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Week 8, 305, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Week 12, 243, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Didn't turn the ball over a whole lot last year. But in terms of touchdowns, 1, 2, 1, 2, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. There's too many ones and too many zeros there. That's the problem in fantasy. If he's not throwing 3 or 4 touchdowns a game, he's not going to finish nearly as high. I'm off Aaron Rodgers. I'm not spending the capital to draft him. I'm staying away from him. Honestly, if it hadn't been for those 3 games last year, he would have finished as a low-end quarterback too. Yeah. If they don't give him weapons, he's going to be back there again this year.
Plus, they have an overall solid defense in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. It's a very solid defense, so they're not going to be playing from behind a whole lot to force him to throw that much. Number 11, here we go. Here comes the hate, Kyle. I'm ready for it, though. Number 11.
Bring it on. Let's go.
Oh, wait, we agree on number 11.
Yes.
Perfect. Number 11, Baker Mayfield. And like you mentioned...
I'm sorry, who?
It's the Bake Show. The Bake Show. Baker Mayfield coming in number 11 for both of us.
Bake sale.
That's right. It's a bake sale, baby. I get it. We always talk about the whole transparency and stuff here. We missed on Baker Mayfield last year. We loved Baker Mayfield last year, but I mean, given the opportunity that he had going into the year, it looked great with Chubb and Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. I mean, it looked great. Did it work? Nope, it didn't. But now, no more Freddie Kitchens, no more weird play calling, another off season to hopefully somewhat mature. What's so funny?
The way you said that, no more weird play call.
I mentioned it in a previous video. I'm not going to sit here and act like I've never talked about it before, but having Odell Beckham line up in the backfield makes no sense to me. Yeah. And at times, stuff like that was going on last year, it didn't help build an identity in an offense. Now, with this offense not really being able to get together a whole lot here in the offseason because of all the crap in the world, that kind of bothers me a little bit that they may not have that opportunity. I hope that Baker's not out there, turning into Ben Roethlisberger and eating cheeseburgers, building up dad bods. But, I just don't know. You don't know. But the opportunity as of right now in April, I love it because of the potential weapons he could come into this season with under a new offense. I got Baker Mayfield at number 11. A lot of people are going to be off this bandwagon this year also.
There's not too many quarterbacks in the league that have more weapons than what Baker Mayfield does. Hunt and Chubb in the backfield. Jarvis Landry, OBJ at wide receiver.
You're hunting Chubb, Kyle? Chubb hunter?
And then at tight end, Njoku and Hooper, obviously. And then they've upgraded the offensive line too. So everything is set up for Baker Mayfield to succeed this year. And in fantasy football, sometimes you just got to forget about the past. Sometimes you just got to move on and say, you know what? Yeah, that guy screwed me last year. But this year is a whole lot different. We can't contribute everything last year and say this is going to happen again. Again, new offensive scheme, better coaches on the team now, all the weapons you could ask for, upgraded offensive line. He's hashtag bake sale for me this year for the sole reason is you're going to get him at such a discount. You're going to be able to get Baker Mayfield outside the top 12 quarterbacks. The only people around that are going to take him within that are going to be Cleveland Brown fans that don't hate him yet.
Exactly, because everybody else hates him outside of Cleveland. Number 12 for me, the last guy on my list. And, I'm thinking about throwing a little bit of a curveball. I have 2 guys that I really want to put here. And it's really going to be dependent on the draft. As of right now at number 12, I have Carson Wentz of the Eagles. However, It's really between him and Tom Brady for me at 12, which is really weird to say that I'm debating putting Tom Brady in as a top 12 quarterback. But as of right now, I think Tom Brady is set up to succeed more than Carson Wentz. However, I can't imagine the Eagles going through the draft and not adding more weapons for Carson Wentz. If he has more weapons in this offense, I think Carson Wentz has a great year. He just can never keep weapons healthy in this offense. So my bolder one, it's going to be Carson Wentz, but it's kind of an asterisk just because I don't know what's going to happen in the draft. Tom Brady is still the safer pick for me to put at number 12, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, I've mentioned that division already with Drew Brees and Matt Ryan. I don't dislike Tom Brady. I mean, you did a slash in your tight end video and had 2 names. Maybe I'll do a slash on this one. I just can't pick yet. I got Carson Wentz and Tom Brady tied for number 12.
I'm going with Tom Brady because honestly, even if they get, Carson Wentz one more major weapon in the first round, is it going to be enough? Is it going to be the Miles Sanders show this year? Alshon Jeffrey, I mean, when is he going to, show up, be healthy, all those different things? I don't know if they've got enough weapons for Carson Wentz to sniff a top 12 quarterback finish. And I don't know. I definitely going to go with Brady, though. Giving him the weapons and the track record, the head coach, everything, I'm going to go that route. That's why I got Tom Brady at 12.
Yeah, and my concern with Brady, he's always had a running game wherever he's been and been successful. The offensive line, not great. The running game still sucks because Ronald Jones is in the backfield. I mean, Brady's never had a running back behind him worse than Ronald Jones. Ever. Like, ever. Even though you like Ronald Jones this year, they got to address it in the draft. They're going to. I believe it. Within my innermost being, they're addressing the running back position because Ronald Jones blows.
That's another show.
That's another show, another topic. Kyle, you have anybody else I didn't touch on? I got all.
And number 8 guy that I have inside the top 12 that you do not is Ryan Tannehill. And I love the offense that he's in. A little bit of a downgrade on the offensive line, but the offensive line was so good last year. I don't think they lose a ton. Derrick Henry's back, so he's going to have the run game. A.J. Brown showed last year he's a top receiving option. Who knows? Maybe Corey Davis shows up at some point in time and helps out. On the tight end show, talked about Geno Smith and how much I love Smith this year. So I've got him inside the top 12 right now. Might do a little bit of moving around, though. Like a guy like Matt Ryan, I think I might, by the time the season gets here, could end up bumping up above Tannehill. But he's going to definitely be a low-end quarterback 1 for me this season.
Yeah, don't dislike Tannehill. Great situation there, coming back into his second year. Only thing that scares me somewhat about Tannehill is now opposing defenses kind of know what they're up against. Now they have the film on him. It's not going to be a surprise like it was last year. And if, like you said, if Corey Davis can ever take a step forward, the offense could be great with Corey Davis, A.J. Brown, and Jonnu Smith, Derrick Henry. It could be awesome. The offensive line loss of Jack Conklin, that does hurt. But like I said, still an overall solid team. Don't dislike Ryan Tannehill whatsoever. Kyle, that was our top 12 quarterbacks. We're pretty close. I mean, we have a few differences here and there, but we want to be interactive. So let us know down below in the comment section, how do you see things? Maybe even put your top 12 down in the comment section. Maybe you say, hey, maybe I see this a little bit differently. That's what we're all trying to accomplish right now. Not trying to prove that somebody's smarter than somebody else. It's April. Pre-draft rankings, they're way too early. They're meant to be moved, but this gives us that established baseline. That's what we're trying to get to right now. So make sure you're being interactive. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button for us and consider subscribing if you have not yet. If you haven't, I have no idea why not. We do so much fun stuff around here. You have to subscribe to the channel. So make sure you do that. Me and Kyle enjoy going back and forth on these types of shows. We'll be doing one of these shows for every position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. If you haven't found them yet, go watch them now that this show is over, because you enjoyed this show so much that you should go watch the other ones. I mean, that just makes common sense, right, Kyle?
Yes, it does.
I mean, I'm trying to make as much common sense at a time of need for the people. That's what we're here for, is the people, Kyle. But had fun. I appreciate it. Top 12 quarterbacks. A lot of people can go a lot of different places. Let us know down below what you think. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you later.